Now we're going to look at more detail about these orientations. And remember, the number of allowed orientations for a certain type of orbital is given by the number of m sub l values that the quantum number rules tell us we can have. So let's start with the lowest quantum number, L, being equal to 0. Remember, m sub l goes from negative L through 0 up through positive L. So if L is 0, the only thing m sub l can be is 0. And that is telling us how many allowed orientations we're going to have. So this is one number that's possible for m sub l, which means we have one allowed orientation for this type of orbital. And remember, this type of orbital we call the s orbital. So s orbitals have only one allowed orientation. The number of m sub l values gives you the number of allowed orientations. If we change the L value to 1, now when we calculate m sub l, we go from negative L, which would be negative 1, up through 0, and then to positive L, which would be a positive 1. So that is a total of 3 numbers, so we have 3 orientations. And remember, that was for L is equal to 1, which we called the p orbital. What does that mean, 3 orientations? Well, a p orbital has a dumbbell shape. So one way to think about the orientations is think about a 3-dimensional grid, like for math class, the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. So one orientation of this p orbital would be to line it up along the x-axis. If I lined it up along the y-axis, it would be vertical instead of horizontal. And then the z, which would be the one that's harder to draw in 2 dimensions, would be coming into the paper and out of the paper at you. So we have 3 allowed orientations. They're all exactly the same shape. It's just a different way of orienting them in the 3-dimensional world. If L is equal to 2, we haven't talked about that shape, so you're not responsible for knowing that shape, but you are responsible for knowing what it's called, and that's called a d orbital. M sub l, again, goes from negative L, which would be negative 2, then to negative 1, 0, plus 1, and plus 2. So if we count up, that's 5 different numbers, so we have 5 orientations for d orbitals. And then the last one, L is 3, we're going to call that f orbital, and we go negative L, which would be negative 3, through 0, and then all the way up to positive 3. So that's a total of 7 numbers, so we have 7 orientations.